Hi, and welcome to British Dad Reacts. My name is John. Thank you for watching. And if you do like this kind of content, then please consider leaving a like, subscribing, leave a comment or a recommendation. The myths around this 1983 track are legion, and about how it cost more to produce the record sleeve when it was first done with the kind of cutouts, to how it became the biggest selling 12-inch single. There's all sorts of stories. But I guess as a big New Order fan, I wanted to review the track, talk a little bit about its history, and just the impact that it had at the time. Okay, everybody knows this track. It's Blue Monday by New Order. Released in 1983 with that kind of famous cutout of a floppy disk, which you can see here, was the original, and then remixed in 1988. I just want to go through some of the things about it, really, because this track kind of changed music, and even now it's so recognisable and it's guaranteed to fill any dance floor. Some of the words there, the lyrics, how does it feel to treat me like you do? Again, one of the other myths, stories around this song is that this was Bernard Sumner's reaction to being asked by so many journalists, how does it feel?
Those who came before me lived through their vocations, from the past until completion. We'll turn away no more, and I still find it so hard to say what I need to say, but I'm quite sure that you'll tell me just how I should feel today.
can't tell you how influential this track was, how it was everywhere. The memories for me of so many parties, clubs, events, crazy times that this track brings me back to, it's just immense. It's just one of those great tracks that just seems to keep going on. Now, I'm going to show a few videos later of where some of the music came from, some of the influences that brought New Order to this. Now, I've got a lot of New Order before, and it's probably the band that I have seen the most live, and I've seen them perform this live many times. And every time you hear it, it always just does something to you. It's just so good. Now, the original sleeve design that I talked about to look like a floppy disk, that was designed by Peter Saville, who was the famous designer behind a lot of the band's artwork for albums and singles. And this was sort of 3 years after they transformed themselves from Joy Division into New Order. And in that kind of intervening period between 80 and 83, when this came out, they'd been visiting a lot of New York clubs, listening to disco music, listening to electronic sounds, which had been a theme throughout their earlier periods, even through Joy Division, like people like Kraftwerk, Italian disco, American disco, that kind of thing. And they'd always had this kind of thought of creating an encore that they didn't need to be at. They could just press a button and the electronics would do everything. And this has often been described as a machine that makes you dance. Now, I want to play a couple of tracks that clearly influence this, and then I just want to play a short part of a live version. Now, you'll recognize some of the bits where they've sampled. The first one I just wanted to do is, this is a track called Uranium by Kraftwerk. And just listen to the beginning and you'll hear the ah. So that was one sample. This was another track that influenced them a lot in Blue Monday. And that was Our Love by Donna Summer. Now, the other thing, towards the end of the track, there's a famous bass line by Hooky, which actually comes from from Enrico Morricone, and he admits that he took it from there. And it was from this film, A Few Dollars More. So like I've said with many tracks and artists, they're often, taking in a view of so much music and using various influences to create something great. And Blue Monday is a great, great track. Now, for many years after they'd created it, well, for some years anyway, they struggled to play it live. And there was a famous performance on the BBC, the Top of the Pops, which is the weekly pop programme, I think in 1983, and BBC had said, we want you on because the track was rising up the charts. And they said, yeah, no problem, but we want to play it live. Lots of wrangling, they got to play it live. They messed it up, and Stephen Morris talks about how he put the floppy disks in to play the various samples and things in the wrong order. Even in the track, Gillian Morris talks about how one of the synths was slightly out of sync with the rest of the music. Even the name Blue Monday was the name of a track from, I don't know when, maybe early 60s by Fats Domino. There's so many influences, but that's how things grow and that's how things get better. And this for me has just been, I guess, a track that's always been with me. This was them in 1985 in Belgium. Now, all the links are in the description, and I'll put a few links into some of the other Joy Division New Order tracks that I've reviewed, I guess, going back to some of their very, very early days. And I know this track has been reviewed, reacted to, covered by so many people. And I guess I wanted to add my input, and to just, for a track that's now, 42 years old, it's hard to imagine, I think, for those who didn't experience it, what this was like when it happened, when this track was released. It just changed everything. And it's that impact that you recall when you hear the track, at least for those who remember that time. And for me, they were great times. Maybe at some point I should tell some of the stories around this track that at least happened to me. If you do like this kind of content, as I said, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, leave a comment or a recommendation. Blue Monday by New Order. Thank you so much for watching.